Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the fourth step of aerobic respiration, which is electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. Already we have seen first three steps of aerobic respiration. They are glycolysis, which is the first step and it happens in cytosol. The second step is link reaction, which happens in matrix of mitochondria. And the third step is citric acid cycle or TCA cycle. That also happens in the matrix of mitochondria. Whereas this fourth step happens in the inner membrane of mitochondria. It occurs even on cristae, which are finger-like projections that are found on inner membrane of mitochondria. In aerobic respiration, the main purpose is to completely oxidize glucose and to provide lots of energy to the cell. If you remember, in the first three steps, that is glycolysis, link reaction and citric acid cycle, complete oxidation of glucose has occurred. That is, there is removal of hydrogen or electrons in all these three steps, and the carbon which was present in the glucose also has undergone complete oxidation and got converted into carbon dioxide. Two molecules of carbon dioxide evolved from the step link reaction, and 4 molecules of carbon dioxide evolved from citric acid cycle. Those hydrogens or electrons that were removed from these three steps were transferred to coenzymes. These coenzymes may be either nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide or flavin adenine dinucleotide. After accepting these hydrogen or electrons, these coenzymes get converted into reduced coenzymes. So you could see by oxidation of one molecule of glucose, totally there is generation of 12 reduced coenzymes. Of these 12 reduced coenzymes, 10 are NADH molecules and only 2 are FADH2 molecules. Of these 10 NADH molecules, 2 are produced from the first step glycolysis, so they are produced in cytosol. Of the remaining 8, 2 from the process link reaction and 6 from citric acid cycle. I told you only 2 FADH2 molecules are produced, and these 2 are produced only from the third step citric acid cycle. Now, these reduced coenzymes have to transfer the electron that they have accepted to electron transport chain. After transferring the electrons, reduced coenzymes gets oxidized. Oxidized coenzymes again do the work of accepting hydrogen or electrons from different steps of aerobic respiration. If you observe carefully, the role of these coenzymes is to accept hydrogen or electron during oxidation of glucose or any respiratory substrate and then passing on these electrons to electron transport chain. Here in the matrix of mitochondria, 8 NADH molecules are produced, right? These 8 NADH molecules can transfer the electrons to complex 1, which is NADH dehydrogenase. From the name itself, we will know they are going to remove the hydrogen from NADH molecules. To reach NADH dehydrogenase, these NADH molecules in the matrix of mitochondria diffuse through the matrix. But the 2 FADH2 molecules that were produced from citric acid cycle, they need not diffuse to reach electron transport chain. Because if you recollect tricarboxylic acid cycle, the complex that has produced this FADH2 itself is the component of electron transport chain, which is nothing but succinate dehydrogenase. Succinate dehydrogenase is responsible for conversion of succinate into fumarate during TCA cycle, and during that dehydrogenation process, the hydrogen that was removed was transferred to FAD and produced FADH2. So these FADH2 are already there in the inner membrane of mitochondria, so they just pass on the electron to electron transport chain. Succinate dehydrogenase is the only enzyme of TCA cycle which is attached with the inner membrane of mitochondria. All other enzymes of TCA cycle are present in the matrix of mitochondria. So this is about transfer of electrons from the coenzyme that were produced within mitochondria. If you remember, there are 2 coenzymes that are left in cytosol. These 2 NADH molecules cannot enter into mitochondria to transfer the electron to electron transport chain, because the membrane of mitochondria is impermeable to these NADH molecules. So what they do is, they just pass on the electrons into mitochondria through shuttle systems. About shuttle systems, I will discuss in a while. Now we will see what happens in the inner membrane of mitochondria. When electrons are obtained from NADH by complex 1 and FADH2 by complex 2, these electrons are passed on through different components of electron transport chain. These electrons finally reach oxygen, which is a terminal electron acceptor. After accepting electrons, they also take protons from the matrix of mitochondria, undergoes reduction and forms water molecule. When electrons are passed on from one component to other component, they lose their potential energy. About this already we have seen in previous videos. With that energy, cells pumps protons from matrix of mitochondria into intermembrane space. So there is formation of gradient. These protons in the intermembrane space, when they accumulate, they develop what is known as proton motive force. With that force, they try to go back into the matrix of mitochondria, but they cannot pass across the membrane. The only way through which they can enter is F0 portion of ATP synthase complex. When they try to enter through F0 portion, this head-like portion of ATP synthase, it just rotates. With that rotational energy, it synthesizes ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. So this is what we are going to see in detail in the coming part of the video. In the next slide, we will see what are the different components of electron transport chain, in what order they are arranged, and why they are arranged in that order. These are the different components of electron transport chain. If you see here, 2 electrons are obtained from reduced coenzyme NADH. This NADH, upon giving away the electrons, gets oxidized and forms NAD plus and 1 proton. Now you see the pathway of this electron. This electron, once it is entering into the complex 1, it goes across through different components and finally it reaches terminal electron acceptor, that is oxygen. Before seeing different components of electron transport chain, let us see in what order they are arranged. They are not arranged randomly, they are arranged in a specific order. This is based on redox potential. Here in this scale, what you are seeing is redox potential expressed in millivolts. If you see the order, they are arranged in increase in redox potential. You see which is having maximum redox potential. Oxygen is having the maximum redox potential and it is 800 millivolts. When redox potential is very high, which means that its affinity for electron is very high, its ability to undergo reduction is also very high. Because oxygen is sitting in the last position as a terminal electron acceptor, this entire passing of electron from one component to other component in a specific direction happens along the electron transport chain. Here NADH acts as electron donor and oxygen acts as terminal electron acceptor. All these components, if you see, they are arranged in groups except for 2. There are totally 4 groups forming 4 complexes. Complex 1 will remove electrons from NADH. Complex 2 will remove electrons from FADH2. These electrons will be passed on to coenzyme Q. This coenzyme Q is not part of any complex. After obtaining electrons from complex 1 or 2, it will pass on those electrons to complex 3. From complex 3, the electrons will be passed on to complex 4 through cytochrome C. Again, this cytochrome C is not part of any complex, which is a free electron transporter, and it will transport electron between complex 3 and 4. Complex 4 then pass on the electrons to terminal electron acceptor, that is oxygen, and results in reduction of oxygen to water. Now let's see about the complex 1. The name of the complex 1 already you know, it is NADH dehydrogenase because it is going to remove hydrogen from NADH. Another name for this enzyme is NADH coenzyme Q reductase because after removing electrons or hydrogen from NADH, it is going to pass on those electrons to coenzyme Q and it is going to reduce this coenzyme Q. That is why it has acquired this name NADH coenzyme Q reductase. Now let's see what happens within this complex. This NADH dehydrogenase requires FMN as a prosthetic group. FMN is flavin mononucleotide. This is a non-protein component which is essential for enzyme activity and is bound covalently to the enzyme. This FMN, after acquiring electrons from NADH, undergoes reduction. Then it passes on those electrons to iron sulfur cluster. From iron sulfur cluster, it is passed on to coenzyme Q. Now let's see about complex 2. Complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase. This enzyme is the only enzyme in TCA cycle which is present in the mitochondrial membrane and is responsible for conversion of succinate into fumarate. During this reaction, flavin adenine dinucleotide, the prosthetic group of complex 2, undergoes reduction, and from this reduced coenzyme, the electrons are passed on to iron sulfur cluster, and from this iron sulfur cluster, the electrons are passed on to coenzyme Q. This enzyme is not only taking part in TCA cycle, it is also taking part in electron transport chain. If you see, it has got another name as well, which is succinate coenzyme Q reductase, because it is obtaining electrons from succinate and it passes on those electrons to coenzyme Q and reduces coenzyme Q. That is why it has got the name succinate coenzyme Q reductase. Now let's see about coenzyme Q. Coenzyme Q is also known as ubiquinone. This is responsible for removal of electrons from complex 1 or complex 2. Once it accepts those electrons from these complexes, it undergoes reduction. In such case, you call it as reduced coenzyme Q or coenzyme Q H2, or you also call it as ubiquinol. This ubiquinol will give those electrons it has accepted from these complexes to complex 3. Now let's see about complex 3. Complex 3 contains two types of cytochromes, cytochrome B and cytochrome C1. Apart from that, it also has iron sulfur cluster in between. What it will do is, it will accept the electrons that are given by coenzyme Q. It passes on those electrons through these components and then give away that electron to cytochrome C. So because of that, it has acquired several names. One name is cytochrome C reductase because it is going to reduce cytochrome C, which is a mobile electron transporter. Another name is coenzyme QH2 cytochrome C reductase because it is going to accept electrons from reduced coenzyme, that is coenzyme QH2, and then it is going to give those electrons to cytochrome C and it is going to reduce this cytochrome C. So that is why it has acquired this name. Another name for this complex is cytochrome B C1 complex because it contains these two cytochromes. Now let's see what this cytochrome C is going to do. Whatever the electron that it has accepted from complex 3, it is going to give away that electron to complex 4. Let us see about complex 4. Here if you see, there are two cytochromes, cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. If you look at the order of cytochromes in electron transport chain, there are two cytochromes in complex 3, cytochrome B and cytochrome C1. There is one electron carrier, mobile electron carrier, which is present between the complex 3 and complex 4, which is cytochrome C. And in complex 4, there are two cytochromes. One is cytochrome A and the other one is cytochrome A3. These cytochromes are heme protein, that is, they contain iron. Apart from that, in the complex 4, there are also two copper centers, copper A and copper B. When we breathe, oxygen that enters into our body reaches in the mitochondrial membrane and it gets bind to the complex 4. It lies between this copper B and cytochrome A3 till it gets electron. The electron that is given by cytochrome C gets transported through different components and it reaches the molecular oxygen. This terminal electron acceptor, that is oxygen, after accepting these electrons undergoes reduction and forms water molecule. This is how electrons are removed from NADH and FADH2 during electron transport chain, and these electrons are passed on through different components and finally it reaches oxygen, which is a terminal electron acceptor. If you look at any of the component in electron transport chain, each one undergoes reduction if it accepts electron from the previous transporter, and it undergoes oxidation when it gives away the electron to the next transporter in electron transport chain. Oxygen, when they undergo reduction, they obtain electrons from electron transport chain and they take protons from matrix of mitochondria so that they could form water molecule. So far, we have seen how NADH and FADH2 are oxidized in electron transport chain, how different components of electron transport chain are arranged in the inner membrane of mitochondria. Now we have to see one more thing. You just look this scale. it represents free energy change during this transfer of electrons. So when the electrons are transferred from one component to other component along the electron transport chain, there is reduction in the energy of electrons. So they lose their potential energy at different steps. Inside the cell, what they do is they utilize the energy that is liberated by the electron. Using that, they pump proton from the matrix of mitochondria into intermembrane space. Among the 4 complexes that are involved in electron transport chain, 3 of them function as proton pumps. They are complex 1, complex 3 and complex 4. Complex 2 is not involved in proton pumping work because the free energy change that has occurred during the transfer of electrons among its components is not enough for it to pump away the proton across the membrane. As you have already seen the concept of electron transport chain, it will be easy for us to understand this diagram. Totally 4 complexes are involved in electron transport chain. They are complex 1, complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4. These 4 complexes are arranged in the inner mitochondrial membrane. This blue colored region represents outer membrane of mitochondria. Space between the 2 membrane represents intermembrane space, and this white colored region represents matrix of mitochondria. This one is the complex 1. It is known as NADH dehydrogenase because it is going to remove hydrogen from NADH, thereby it is going to oxidize NADH into NAD+. This is complex 2, which is known as succinate dehydrogenase because it is going to remove hydrogen from succinate and it is going to convert succinate into fumarate. And this is the enzyme complex that is involved in both TCA cycle as well as in electron transport chain. And this is the only enzyme of TCA cycle which is attached with the inner membrane of mitochondria, whereas all other enzymes of TCA cycle are present in the matrix of mitochondria. This one represents complex 3, which is known as cytochrome C reductase because it is going to reduce cytochrome C by giving electrons. And the 4th complex is said to be cytochrome C oxidase because it is going to oxidize cytochrome C by accepting or removing electrons from cytochrome C. These complexes also have other names which I have already discussed in the previous slide. What you are seeing here is the complex which is involved in ATP synthesis. We call it as ATP synthase, and this one is responsible for synthesis of adenosine triphosphates by oxidative phosphorylation. Once electrons are transported across different components of electron transport chain, ATP synthesis happens by this particular complex, which we will see in a moment. Now we will see about these 2 electron transporter which is not part of any complexes. UQ represents ubiquinone or coenzyme Q, which is responsible for collecting or removing electrons from complex 1 or complex 2. After accepting electrons, it undergoes reduction and form reduced coenzyme Q or ubiquinol. This reduced ubiquinol undergoes oxidation by donating electrons to complex 3. And this is present on the inner membrane of mitochondria. If you see the cytochrome C, it is not present in the inner membrane of mitochondria, but it is present in the intermembrane space. It is present on the outer side of inner membrane of mitochondria and is responsible for transferring electrons from complex 3 to complex 4. First, we will see how electrons are removed from reduced coenzymes, how it moves along different components of electron transport chain. Then we will see how ATP synthesis occurs by oxidative phosphorylation. Now we will see what happens when NADH donates electrons to complex 1. This NADH molecule, when it gives the electrons, it undergoes oxidation and gets converted into NAD+. Now this NAD+ can go back to link reaction or TCA cycle to accept some more electrons. The electrons that are accepted by this prosthetic group of complex 1, that is flavin mononucleotide, they reduce this FMN. This reduced FMN undergoes oxidation by giving this electron to iron sulfur cluster. It is not that only one iron sulfur cluster is present within the complex. There are more than one iron sulfur clusters. These iron sulfur clusters pass on electrons till the final iron sulfur cluster give away the electron to ubiquinone. If you see now, the electron has come out of complex 1. Now this complex is ready to oxidize another NADH molecule. Now let's see what happens to this ubiquinone. Ubiquinone, after accepting these electrons, undergoes reduction and forms reduced ubiquinone or ubiquinol. This gives away the electron to complex 3 so that this can undergo oxidation so that it can go back to complex 1 or complex 2 to receive some more electrons. Now, this electron, once it reaches complex 3, it is accepted by cytochrome B. From cytochrome B, it is passed on to iron sulfur cluster. From iron sulfur cluster, it is given to cytochrome C1. If you see all the components, when they accept electron, they are said to be reduced. When they give away the electron, they are said to be oxidized. This cytochrome C1 now will give the electron to cytochrome C, which is a mobile electron transporter which is present on outer side of inner membrane of mitochondria. This cytochrome C, after accepting the electrons, pass on this electron to complex 4. In the complex 4, as you know already, there are 2 cytochromes and 2 copper centers. So this electron moves to cytochrome A through copper A. From cytochrome A, it is passed on to cytochrome A3 and then to copper B. As you know already, the molecular oxygen that enters into mitochondria, it lies between the cytochrome A3 and copper B. As the space is not enough, I have written it here, but originally the oxygen will be here. Now this electron is accepted by oxygen, which lies between these two. After accepting the electrons, it also takes away protons from the matrix, undergoes reduction and forms water molecule. This is how metabolic water is formed from oxygen. Though so far you have seen movement of only one electron, from one NADH molecules actually pair of electrons are removed. So you should imagine that 2 electrons are passed across the components and then reaches this oxygen. So half molecular oxygen, that is one oxygen atom, binds with 2 protons and 2 electrons and forms one water molecule. When there is oxidation of NADH, 3 complexes are involved. They are complex 1, 3 and 4. When there is oxidation of FADH2, in such case only complex 2 is involved. So in that case, the order will be complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4. When pair of electrons are removed from NADH and when it enters into electron transport chain, during its transfer, the energy that is released by the electrons are enough to activate 3 proton pumps. They are complex 1, complex 3 and complex 4. This energy is enough to pump 10 protons from matrix of mitochondria into intermembrane space, of which 4 protons are pumped by complex 1, 4 protons are pumped by complex 3 and 2 protons are pumped by complex 4. So totally 10 protons are pumped for every pair of electrons that enters into the electron transport chain from NADH. Now let's see how complex 2 is involved in electron transport chain. When succinate undergoes oxidation and gets converted into fumarate, hydrogen that is removed from succinate is accepted by FAD, which is the prosthetic group of complex 2. So FAD undergoes reduction and forms FADH2. This reduced FAD gives away the electron to iron sulfur cluster. From the iron sulfur cluster, it goes to ubiquinone. From here, the steps are same as it was for NADH oxidation. After accepting electrons, ubiquinone undergoes reduction and forms ubiquinol. From ubiquinol, the electrons are passed on to complex 3. In complex 3, first cytochrome B accepts this electron, then it is passed on to iron sulfur cluster. From there, it goes to cytochrome C1. Through cytochrome C, it goes to complex 4 and it passed on through different components and finally it reaches oxygen, resulting in reduction of oxygen forming water molecule. Once electrons reach ubiquinone from either complex 1 or complex 2, they follow the same path to reach oxygen. When FADH2 undergoes oxidation, only 2 proton pumps are involved. So totally 6 protons are pumped for every pair of electrons that enters into the electron transport chain from complex 2. And we know already complex 2 is not a proton pump. When protons accumulate in the intermembrane space, there is establishment of proton gradient across inner membrane of mitochondria. If you see, it is not that only by pumping alone there is formation of gradient. There are 2 reasons for this gradient. One is pumping of protons by these three pumps. Second reason is for reduction of every oxygen atom, there is utilization of two protons from the matrix. So because of these two reasons, there is continuous increase in the intermembrane space, there is continuous decrease of protons in the matrix of mitochondria. When protons accumulate, there is not only establishment of proton gradient, but also pH gradient across the membrane of mitochondria. These protons, they tend to develop a force known as proton motive force. And with this force, they try to enter through the membrane into the matrix of mitochondria. But inner membrane of mitochondria is impermeable to proton. The only region through which they can enter into the matrix of mitochondria is through this F0 portion of ATP synthase. As I told you already, ATP synthase has two parts, F0 which is integral part of inner membrane of mitochondria, and F1, the protruded portion, the head-like portion, is into the matrix of mitochondria. The entry of these protons into matrix of mitochondria through this F0 portion of ATP synthase is very well explained by the scientist Peter Michel. According to him, these protons enter into matrix by the process chemiosmosis. We call it as chemiosmosis because movement of protons are from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is, along the concentration gradient across a semi-permeable membrane. These protons that are accumulated in the intermembrane space, they move with the proton motive force through this F0 portion. When they move like that, that creates rotation in F1 region of ATP synthase. Because of this rotational energy, it acts like a motor. This ATP synthase is said to be the smallest molecular motor. During this rotation, there is addition of phosphate to ADP, resulting in the production of ATP by oxidative phosphorylation. We call this as oxidative phosphorylation because energy that is required for this phosphorylation is obtained from redox reactions that happen along the electron transport system. So far, we have seen how electrons from complex 1 and complex 2 are transported along the electron transport chain, how protons are pumped into the intermembrane space of mitochondria, and how when these protons return into the matrix, ATP molecules are synthesized by oxidative phosphorylation. As complexes involved in electron transport chain are distributed throughout inner membrane of mitochondria, NADH molecules produced within the matrix can easily reach these complexes. Now let's see how NADH molecules produced in the cytosol, they give away the electrons through shuttle system into mitochondria. NADH produced in the cytosol, they cannot enter into the mitochondria as membrane of mitochondria is impermeable. They pass on the electrons through shuttle systems. There are two shuttle systems. One is malate aspartate shuttle. Second one is glycerol phosphate shuttle. If it is malate aspartate shuttle, the electrons from NADH in the cytosol are transferred to NAD+ present within mitochondria. If it is glycerol phosphate shuttle, the electrons are transferred to FAD present in the mitochondria. After giving away the electrons, the reduced NADH becomes oxidized. Oxidized NAD+ again go back to glycolysis to accept electrons in the sixth step of glycolysis. In mitochondria, NAD+ when it receives electrons undergoes reduction and forms NADH, and FAD if it accepts electrons, it undergoes reduction and forms FADH2. If it is NADH, it gives away the electron to complex 1 of electron transport chain, undergoes oxidation. If it is FADH2, it gives away the electrons in complex 2 and then undergoes oxidation. This is how electrons from reduced NADH that are produced during the process of glycolysis enter into mitochondria. In mitochondria, in the inner membrane, they enter into electron transport chain and are utilized for synthesis of ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. When electrons from NADH enter into electron transport chain, there is synthesis of 3 ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. Similarly, if electrons from FADH2 enter into electron transport chain, there is production of 2 ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. Apart from oxidative phosphorylation, there is also synthesis of ATP molecules by substrate level phosphorylation, which we have already seen when we have studied glycolysis and TCA cycle. In the next class, respiratory balance sheet, let's see how many ATP molecules are synthesized from one molecule of glucose when it undergoes oxidation by aerobic respiration.